Hey, Coach Dave, and I have my. Let me switch my name here. How's it going, Dave? What you up to, man? You doing good?
Slept half the day away, watched some Ohio State football, watched them beat up on Iowa today. So,
Yeah.
and then fell asleep for the last few hours. As you can see, I have my one of my chess club coffee mugs, having my coffee this evening.
Oh man, that's cool. Let's see that. Let me see that. Bring it up.
Yeah, this is the Marysville Chess Club. So what Marysville did is they gave me this about a couple years ago. The one of the
cool.
members of the club. It has the Marysville logo and with the letters all around it, which is pretty cool. They also, a couple years ago too, they actually gave me a beer mug as well, about like yay big with the Marysville logo on there as well. As well as hats. Yeah, like I got the coffee mug and a beer mug. So one for the day, one for the afternoon, right? And I have a couple of Marysville Chess Club shirts.
Oh, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so... I'm working on some stuff for my club. I'm probably going to do something because we actually share the logo. Actually, Marysville Chess Club let us use their logo for my chess club. So I'm thinking about getting some mugs, maybe some shirts made, things like that. So
now you're talking business, man. That is a sweet deal. Well, man, I tell you what. There's a lot of things happening in the chess world. Obviously, there's more tournaments going on. There was a tournament today up in Harlingen. Guys are here in the area, and one of the teams that I coach came out first in the elementary division. There's quite a few others. Next week, there's another tournament at Stillman, guys. But the big news is all these things going on with this lawsuit, man. That I don't know. I don't even know if I want to talk about it, but people are going to hear about it and they're going to have some questions.
It's in the So the Wall Street Journal posted this. I believe it was around Wednesday this week. So once Wall Street Journal posts anything and then the New York Times follows, it gets everywhere in the United States. I think we'll just have to wait to see what happens. I personally don't know chess.com's algorithm or anything and how they can prove cheating. I think with this lawsuit, now they're going to have to reveal that to the world, which I think they're going to have to change it again after that anyway. There'll be some flaws that'll be pointed out, and we'll just have to see what happens with the courts. For all we know, this will settle quickly, which chess.com, I don't know, it doesn't sound like they want to, even though there's been no comment from Danny Vegetal. He's actually he's actually deactivated his own Facebook, his own personal Facebook because of this. I don't like the fact that Hikaru Nakamura is being attacked over this. I think it's ridiculous because he's going based off what Magnus Carlsen said, and I mean Magnus Carlsen probably won't even defend against it. He's from a foreign nation. Even if they do find in favor of Hans Niemann, it's not like he's going to pay them a dime anyway. He doesn't live in the United States. He's not from here. I mean, we'll just see what happens. I just think it looks bad for chess, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. All those parents that are considering getting their kids into chess are going to have this bad flavor in their mouth about what's going on, and I don't know. I wish they would have just done it in private, but media got a hold of it, and it just looks bad for chess. But hopefully,
but
it all comes out, and of course, but it's all about the money.
Unfortunately, chess is in certain ways, and nothing we can do about it. Money.
Money.
The bills and makes the.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a good part of the money, but in this case, this is a bad part of the money deal, and so that's not a good thing for anybody, But see what happens. Hey, Daniel, I'm glad you're here. How y'all doing? We're doing good, man. We're doing great. So let's do some puzzles. Let me pull out the first one here. Let me put that one up there and let me share. And here, let me Chrome first one. I guess it's hold on, this one, is it this one? Yeah, here we go. 1, 2, 3, boom. There you go. So let me take this one out. And there we go. We have it right in front of us. And this is black to move. Was it the B plot gave him the moves? Really? Eh, yeah,
I wouldn't say that. We don't know, but
yeah, not yet. I think there's a lot of speculation as to what happened, and even people were blaming Carlson, and it's like and it's like, I mean, come on. Yeah, sorry. No, that's cool. But let's see. Alan, if you're there, let me know and I'll send you a link. Or anybody in chess world that wants to come in, man, we can come on here. We can talk some chess, or we can actually do some puzzles. So, what do you think here, Daniel? You see something here? Black to move. Black to move and win. Actually, black to move and win. So it's a little tricky, but always look at the position of the king. Remember, checkmate is controlling the squares around the king. Checkmate is sometimes the queen in front of the bad king, the queen protected by a piece, that kind of deal. Sometimes we need a sacrifice to expose the king to more checks, and therefore the king hunt, and therefore the checkmate. Sometimes we need to remove a piece that's protecting a certain square or protecting a certain piece. Or sometimes we simply get rid of a piece that's in the way, that's the protector of a square, that kind of deal, or protector of a piece. Kind of like a removing of the guard or clearing sacrifice, that kind of deal. But what do you see here, Dave? Or Daniel, rather. Daniel, that you're watching this. What do you think, Daniel? Any ideas? If not, Dave will jump in with the answer. Hey, here we go. Rook takes rook. Oh my goodness, rook takes rook. What do you? Let's play it. Let's play it. Rook takes rook. All right. So the rook and the queen create a battery, and they're attacking the queen, right? Obviously, the rook can go here for a possible mate, but of course, we got two pieces protecting there. The queen can go here and here for a check, but the queen is the rook is protecting there, and the queen is protecting there. So yeah, it makes sense. But the thing is here is this move here.
Right, it hangs a mate. Yeah,
and I mean, it's not checkmate because the rook can come back down.
No, you have to play bishop.
No, you have to play the bishop because and you're okay. And of course, from there, you might have problems, but hey, you're up a piece, so you're okay. I don't. What would white play here? White turn to move. No, he can't go rook here because queen will go here if he takes. Bishop takes him there. So I mean, it still looks pretty good for black, but I don't know. White's already had the advantage here. Am I right, Dave?
Correct.
Yeah. So that's not the move. So, but that is the right idea. That is the right. Ouch. Daniel says, ouch. Yeah. It's the long range pieces, guys. We always have to make sure we're paying attention to the long range pieces, especially diagonals. A couple of years ago, I had a kid, man. This kid could not see diagonals for nothing, man. That was his total weakness. He couldn't see diagonals. So I worked with him. He's my son's age, and I remember we used to do lessons with him like late at night. I mean, it was like 9:30, 10 when we would do his lessons because that's the only time he was available. But he was faithful to the lessons, and that year he became a state champion. But his first thing he had to overcome was diagonals, man. Once he did that, man, the dude was very solid, And so, yeah, let's see. I'll take my time. Yeah, that's a good thing, isn't it? Take your time. What do you think, Dave? What do you see?
Instead of rook takes rook, queen takes rook. It cuts off the diagonal.
Yeah, it cuts the diagonal. It attacks the rook. It attacks the queen. And
don't forget about that pawn in the middle.
Yeah, well, that too. You're also attacking the pawn here. The pawns can't go in reverse. There's no signal that goes toot, 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 toot. So the pawn cannot go in reverse in this case. This is the best move. If the queen decides to capture the rook, if the queen here decides to capture the rook, well, that would be, man, I can't draw a diagonal. If the queen here decides to capture the rook, well, that would be totally bad because the rook would just capture there, so no, nothing. But a lot of times, this is something that I teach my students. When you're winning, trade. Simplify the position. And in this case, I think why black will end up with very good position. He'll end up with a battery on the C file, and in case, let's just play it out. Queen takes queen. Obviously, rook captures, and white is losing in this case. Why is he losing? Because of because he's got the battery. He's winning by the exchange, right? And he's going to create a battery. He's going to run it up there, and he's going to do that. And that makes sense. Hey, Graciela, how's it going? ¿Cómo te va? You doing all right? Hey, we need to get you in on the show. But this is the type of move. Am I right, Dave? This is what.
Yes, that's correct. Doubling up on the rooks. Yes, it's a very common concept. I teach this to my students very early on. It's part of opening theory. Queen back there.
Yeah, let's say the queen goes here. What would be the move now?
Oh, it's fairly simple. You have actually a few moves.
All right.
Nope. Queen's, what is that? Queen F7 would be the correct move.
Queen F7. Yes. Queen F7.
Because you want to keep attacking. Right. You want to
Why
keep
is Queen F7 a good move? Because the job of the rook is to get an open file, aim at F7, or aim to the 7th rank. The rook loves to get on the 7th rank and then double up, create a battery on any open file, and then bring his buddy over to the 7th rank and become pigs. So the two rooks would love to be on the 7th rank to eat the buffet of pawns that are up here. And
but the move you're overlooking too is actually what you really want to try to do, and the ultimate goal is to really hit that queen on E4. Queen E4, that's a deadly space, especially if you get the connectivity of bishop to B7. You're growing all sorts, and you're just going to keep hammering, beating your opponent to death over the board.
Yeah, I agree. Apply pressure. And remember, the idea, controlling the center, the player that controls the center the best has the winning material. And I always say it's like two boxers. You punch one guy more in the face, you're going to win. You're going to throw the other guy out. You hit punches like in the toes, you're going to get knocked out yourself. Why did the last guy quit on me? I don't know. Why did the last guy quit on you? I had a few mates, but I don't know. Well, sometimes that happens, man. They just figure, man, the game's over. Might as well surrender, might as well quit, might as well take off. Is like, or bad sportsmanship, they just walk off the board, or they just don't have game, Daniel. That's the thing, All right, well, let's knock this one out and let's do the next one. Okay, let me go to the next one here. Let me share with you guys this one. These are not too hard today, but let's see. Here we go. We got the knight there, and boom, there it is. This is fairly simple. Always pay attention to the pieces that you have on the board. He said that still interested in the match too soon, huh? Maybe. Okay. But always pay attention to the kind of pieces you have on the board. I always like to teach my students that there's the pawn, right? There's the pawn. There's the king, of course. There's the long range pieces, which is the rooks, the bishop, and the queen. They go long distance, either on files, rows of squares that go up and down the board, ranks side to side, and of course diagonal rows of squares that do not change color. They're all in the same color. And then there's the knight, the jumper. He jumps around. He loves to create forks. So we want to look at the pieces that way. And of course, always control the squares around the king. Consider the colors, because remember, this game is basically two colors. You got your dark squares and your light squares. In advanced chess, as you know, Dave, there's dark square strategy, light square strategies, and all of that. And so, why not teach a beginner to start to understand colors? But what do you think here, Daniel? You're still Graciela. You have an idea as to the best move for white, la mejor movida para blanco. Let's see here. Cool. Thank you. So what do we got here? What do you think? Oh man. Guess I gotta share it. So what do you think? Any ideas?
Oh, I see something so evil here. Hint.
Hint.
Red alert. Look at your major pieces.
Yeah. Look at your major pieces. I always say when a knight's in the area, consider royal forks. When the knight's in the area, consider royal forks. So let's see what do you think. The other thing here is hey, wait a minute. This puzzle looks wrong, guys.
No,
no. Okay.
It mates.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a sacrifice. I know how to.
Yeah. I'm confusing this puzzle with another puzzle. But let's see. Check with the queen. Interesting. Check with the queen. Let's find a check with the queen.
No,
okay.
Check with the queen is
queen
not
takes. It would be obviously. Well, let's try. Queen takes queen. What do we do? If we go, if we go this way, right? Then this guy simply hits here, and you're down a piece, and you're down a piece. If you go here, obviously he runs away. You do have this check, right? But rook can take or queen can take, so you got nada. If you go here, then obviously queen has to take. You're gonna have to take back. He takes, and I think here you're losing. You're well, hold on. Let's see. Was that the move? Was that the move? Whoa. Hey, we forgot about this rook. That might be the move. So what do we do?
No, it's not the move.
He moves here. There we go.
It's winning, but it's not the fastest. Remember,
no, it's not the
fast and effective.
Yeah, there's a better move.
Okay. So, are you guys ready? I'm going to show you.
All right. So you ready for it?
Okay.
Think about it.
Here we go.
Before you say that, before you go, Dave, let me just say, remember, sometimes, and in most brilliant checkmates, there's some sort of sacrifice. Sometimes there's a long queen move. So, Dave, take it from there.
All righty. Rook H8 check.
Yes, a sacrifice.
Bishop takes.
If the bishop takes, we have
queen hits on H7 check.
And he goes.
Then king only has one move.
I'm grabbing the wrong. King only has one move. And then we have
the rook takes check.
A rook takes, right? Because the king can't go here. The king can't go anywhere. So the queen must capture to protect. And then queen captures, queen checkmate. Now let's look at that one. Let's look at that one again. So sacrifice. Now, if king captures, because king can capture, then we have a very simple queen and knight checkmate. Very simple, right? But that's not going to be the best move. So the best move is, of course, capture. The bishop captures, right? The bishop captures, right? Bishop captures. And, of course, we have the check with the queen, right? Which sets up this position. And now look at this. 3 pieces are attacking that square, that weak square F7. Remember, that's the weak square. And so we could, if there was a piece right here on G8, we could do it with the queen. We could sacrifice the queen, but not in this case. So it's a forced capture with the rook. Right? The queen must protect or defend, and then queen captures queen, and we have the checkmate. Beautiful, beautiful. One more time. Daniel says one more time. Do I need to do it one more time, Daniel, for you? Let me do it one more time for Daniel here. So, sacrifice, Daniel. Right? Sacrifice. The bishop takes. That's the best move. Queen comes into h7, creating the check. The king moves. And also that creates a pin, but that's not too important in this case. So here comes the rook check. Remember, the rook is protected by two pieces, the knight and the queen. The queen must, bring the lady down. And of course, boom, the queen in front of the bad king, the queen protected by a piece. And Daniel says, that's awesome. I thought you liked that. That was a pretty good checkmate. That was pretty, right? That's what Daniel says. That's pretty. All right. Well, cool, man. Let's add another one. Let's do another one here. Cool deal. How we doing? All right. So let's do this one. Chrome tap. I think it's this one here. Yep. All right. Let's do this one here. Okay. This one's blocked to move and win. It's a little harder, but it might be easy. So think about it. What do you got here? What do you see? Let me see if I can do a little bit. What do you guys see here?
My students. Okay, let me see.
There you go.
It's a nifty little idea.
All right. So, what do you see then?
Yeah, what is Daniel saying?
Let's Daniel. Come on, answer it, Daniel. Daniel's thinking. Good. Put your thinking caps on, guys, and let's figure this one out. And let's see what happens. All right, there we go. All right, I'm also sharing it on my page as well, and you can see it on YouTube as well on the ACTITUD PASIÓN YouTube channel. And so here we go. Okay, we got it going on here. So what do you think, Daniel? Let's see what's going on here. Let's see who else is watching this here. Oh, you got 3 people watching this on this one and 7 on the other one. And oh boy. Cool. So what do we got, Daniel? You got an idea? I think Daniel doesn't have an idea on this one. There should be some stuff. It ain't that complicated. Remember, long range pieces, bring them closer to the king. Attack the squares around the king. Remember, 2 pieces attacking 1 square. Sometimes that's a good place to land a piece. Sometimes there might be discover attacks. You have the black queen is aiming at the white queen with a knight in between them. So maybe the knight's going to go somewhere, and maybe it might be queen captures queen. I don't know. I'm just looking at possibilities here. The king is on the dark square, so we might have to move that guy to a light square. I don't know. See what happens. Obviously, the black pawns are too far behind to do anything, but you never know. We got the rooks that are controlling the center. The F rook has on the F file pretty cool open file. Semi-open file for the E file rook. The rook on the E file. They're attacking E3. Of course, that pawn there and that square is protected by the white rook and the white queen and the king as well. But we also have 3 pieces attacking that square. You got the black queen, the rook, black rook, and black knight attacking that square. So there might be something going on. Oh, I want to lock him in. Yeah, there you go. That's the idea, Daniel. You're attacking. You want to bring your pieces. Remember, 3 or more pieces is a good attack, and you want to attack the squares around the king. You want to bring more power pieces in.
Okay.
So remember the Grandmaster moves, right, guys? What are the Grandmaster moves? I always talk about this, right? Of course, you have to. Well, let's talk a little bit about this because this is, what are the things when forming a plan? Follow the 4-step process. Number 1, visualize the position you want. What do we want? We're looking for checkmate. Okay, what kind of checkmate are we going to organize? Do you want to visualize? Determine if and how it can be achieved. Don't dream. Don't say, okay, I want to create a checkmate with a knight and a bishop. You don't even have a knight. Use the pieces that you have and create checkmates. Even if they don't exist, but maybe with the ideas of pieces moving into those positions. It's got to make sense. It's not a fairy tale in a sense. Consider how your opponent would stop your plan. Because this is a very important step. Because a lot of times, I especially in the weaker players or scholastic players, sometimes I see that they don't focus too much on what the opponent is going to do. They only worry about their plan. Man, I have a super outstanding plan, and man, I'm going to execute it. And then the opponent makes a very dumb move, and they might have checkmate, but they're going after the queen or something, and they don't see it. Or they have a good plan and it's going to be checkmate, but they forget that the opponent just made something that will stop their plan, and they don't consider that, and they go ahead and execute, and boom, they lose their queen, and boom, they lose the game because they lost the initiative and they lost the attack. So you got to consider, what is the opponent? How is the opponent going to stop my plan? And of course, always look at your opponent's counterplay. Almost the same thing, but counterplay. How's he gonna? Does he have checkmate in 1? A lot of times in a lot of puzzles we see where the player has checkmate in 1, and you come in with 2 or 3 moves and you checkmate him before he checkmates you. So consider all of that. So what do we got, Daniel? And Daniel makes a comment. Okay, here. Hey, Paloma, ¿qué tal, Paloma? How you doing? Paloma is an awesome author. Let me put her name up there. Hey, how you doing? She is out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Are we having an English class today? So, yeah. But, yeah, that's what we want to do. Does that make sense? So, what do you think, Daniel? If not, let's see. I gotta get another private message. Yes. Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I agree with you, Dave. Go ahead and take it, Dave. Well, let's see what does he have. I'm seeing you.
Okay.
And your friend. Hey, there you go. Cool deal. Love it. So
the first move we're going with rook f7 check. And yes, like Daniel said, we're going to lock him in there. We got to lock him in there somehow.
Yeah, the rook is attacking all the way across, especially the pawn here and especially the square here. What is it? D2 and E2 and the whole line right there. Now, if the queen decides to capture, not a problem. Hey, well, we would welcome that move. Of course, maybe he goes here and, we don't get the checkmate immediately, but we would win the queen and we could definitely win the game after that. But this is definitely the move. White has knight block, he has rook block, and he has bishop block, and he can also move the king to these 2 squares. All right, what do you think? Let's see. Let me play devil's advocate, and let's say rook blocks, because you want to block an attack. You want to block an attack instead of running sometimes. Although when you block, the piece might become a pin. So let's see. Is the rook block a good move in this case? It's blocking an attack.
No.
Oh, that's why they say when you're in check, after you move the king, the first move to get out of check is capture the attacker. The second move is king captures something. The third step is king moves to a safe square. And then the fourth way of getting out of check after you have castle remove your king is to block. It's almost always never a good idea to block once you move the king. You block before because you want to castle, but once you've castled or moved your king, blocking is almost not a good option, right? So let's learn why the rook block is not good. What do you think? What do you see here, Dave?
See a couple ideas. I'm looking at rook takes on what is that? Yeah.
Dead ahead. Rook captures that pawn. He is attacking the queen. The queen must move. The queen cannot take either rook. If the queen captures either rook, the queen is dead. The queen is in danger. She's in danger here. She's in danger there. She's in danger here. She's in danger there. She could capture this pawn, right? She could capture, let me highlight it over here. She could capture that pawn, and she's in danger here, and she's in danger capturing and capturing and capturing. Look at all those squares. So this is a very strong move. The rook cannot capture. Now, if the queen were to capture, thinking, okay, the king's protecting, the rook's protecting, then the move would simply be queen captures. And this guy would be totally done, But obviously, this is the first move. Let's say he goes here again. The queen would have to go. The queen would have to move out of the way here.
You got to capture. Remember,
first we have to capture here, and the queen would have to go out of the way or capture the rook, but probably go here. And then what is the follow-up to this?
Then rook on e3. Rook on e3 takes the rook. Yeah, because you're going to create a double check. You create a double check with a forcing mate.
The queen is aiming at the king, and the piece that's in the way simply goes out of the way. Yes, some players might go here to capture the queen, and I would say to you guys, you're greedy because the double check is the best move. The double check is hard to stop. I would say it's the strongest weapon in chess, the double check, because it paralyzes all the pieces, and the only piece that can move in a double check is the king. And so, yes, you're right. Creating the battery, and creating a discover check and a double check. So the king, wherever he goes, he's in trouble. Oh, he only has one square. And, of course, follow up with the queen is checkmate.
Ta-da!
Oh, man, that's pretty. I like the way the rooks and the queen are set up on the 7th rack. All right. So, obviously, this is the first move, right? If the rook blocks, we bring this guy here. This guy walks away. He's gone from the party. We got the double check. He moves, and the queen comes in for the checkmate. The queen in front of the back king, the queen protected by a piece. Of course, that's not the best move, right? So, let's say here. Let's say bishop blocks. Would we do the same with the bishop blocks? What do you think?
Yeah, same idea. Because you're still getting a double check. Same idea.
Because of this line, the queen is aiming at the king. I always talk about pieces aiming and pieces attacking. When I'm referring to aiming where a piece is in the way, like a sniper would aim through a tree or through something like that, and the bullet would still go through, right? So, boom, he's aiming. And, of course, queen has to move out of the way. I think queen still goes here, and, of course, we still get the same idea. Boom, and the checkmate. So, blocking does not help. So, his only other option, well, he has queen captures as well. That might be his best option. But the other option is, I guess he moves here. Now, if he moves to that light square, what is the move? Here's where you win. Remember, this is not a checkmate puzzle. This is block to move and win. But when
you can go rook takes again. Rook takes up the middle of the board. You're still going to force a mate regardless.
Right? You're still going to force mate. Is there anything else? Well, let's see. There's not a check, though. It's not a check. Right? It's not a check. No, but
you don't want to. But that is the best move.
You're attacking sacrifice. Let's look at that one. He would go here. What is the move now?
You take the rook check, forcing the mate again.
Sacrifice. sacrifice the rook.
It's not a sacrifice; it's an exchange. But still,
there's no way the king has to capture, and then you simply have the checkmate with the queen coming all the way over here, and we have a beautiful checkmate. I think I like this one checkmate better. So again, he goes here. What do we say? The king moves out of the way, right? Is that what we said? Yeah, right.
Rook takes either way.
Rook attacks. Queen moves out of the way. We have check, which would kind of like a checkmate, but it's not checkmate because
exchange
the king captures.
Yep.
And then we have the checkmate there. All right, what else? What else? All right, let's say he goes to this square. Or no, now, what about a check with a knight? Does that work?
No.
Because now queen can capture queen.
Yeah, but it doesn't work because rook captures. So I guess if you want to go up material, I guess you can.
Yeah, rook captures, right?
Then queen captures.
And then, of course, what do we have? We
queen
have
has to capture. Queen queen captures.
No, yeah, you're right. Queen has to capture at this point, and now you're not doing that well.
You're not doing that well.
In fact, you're losing now. You're losing the game. So it has to be done just the right move. So this is the move. He moves here. The move is there. All right. So now let's say we still go here, but this time he goes to C1, right? Yeah, he goes to C1. What is the move? Do we still do the same thing? What do you think, Daniel? Do we still do the same thing?
Yeah, like I said, what does Daniel got to say here? Okay.
Yeah. Daniel, did you understand all those moves before? Yeah, I would say so, right, Dave? Capture still the same plan?
Yep.
Yeah, because the queen's aiming. The king stayed on the same color. There's that diagonal. The queen's aiming through it, and so we do this to hide the check. If the rook captures, then of course we give it a check, right? Am I right? Hold on, let me look at the board. Yeah, you can give it a check.
No, you can, yeah.
I mean, we give it a check, queen takes, and what happened now? We're losing.
Yeah, but you're still winning actually that position.
Let's see. He goes here. What is the move now? I wonder if we can. What else can we do? No, we can't capture with the queen. Could we capture with a rook? I mean, could we capture with a knight? He takes queen. We have check here. He runs, and we have nothing.
Yeah, he just runs away. And
because the rook cannot capture because we have a knight here. So
correct.
Yeah. So the move is rook captures, right? And queen moves away. If queen moves away, let's first queen moves away. We have rook.
It's double mate.
It's a double checkmate, and it's a checkmate. So here rook captures.
Yep. And guess what? Hello, sacrifice. Sacrifice that rook. Rook sacrifice.
Where?
Go across. No. Take pawn check. You take the pawn on what is that? C.
Oh yeah. Check, sacrifice. Why? Because we have a knight. What did knights do? They create forks. And in this case, if he moves away, no big deal, right? If he moves away, then we can capture with the rook, and we're fine. But chances are he's going to capture. We have this, and wherever he moves, we capture the queen. So more than likely at this point, he's going to capture. We capture, and the queen versus three pieces like that, we can deal with that. We have plenty of pawns, so we can deal with that. The queen is super powerful, and he says, same plan. So that one was pretty cool. That one was very pretty. You got a little bit of theory there and a little bit of that. So yeah. Okay, one more, and then we'll see. All right, so let me show you one more puzzle here, and is it this one? Yeah, here we go. All right. So here we go, guys. Let's see. Yeah, David is super strong, man. He beats up some 2200s. He is pretty cool. Okay, so white to move. Daniel, what do you see here, dude?
Oh, Dios míos. Oh, this is easy. Think this way, Daniel. Minor piece.
Minor piece, you're right. Minor piece. This one, always consider the unprotected piece. That's one. And then sometimes consider the piece you want to capture. Now, you might say, I want to capture that piece, but man, it's protected. Well, when that happens,
don't get greedy.
No, well, when that happens, you might say, okay, man, if I get rid of the protector, in other words, you remove the guard, then you might capture a free piece sometimes, but sometimes there's other stuff you can do, you know. But let's see what happens here. Don't get greedy. Think about that.
Do you have a move, Daniel?
Come on, Daniel. Give me a move.
You can do it.
You can do it, man. You can do it. All on all 64 squares. Come on, Daniel. Let's see what you got, man. What do you think? I kind of like the bishop. The bishop takes the knight, but I don't want to lose my bishop. I don't want to lose my bishop. I want to keep my bishop.
It's not a matter of keeping the bishop. It's a matter of losing. You go into a losing end game, but still.
Yeah. But I don't want to. I'm looking. All right, you keep looking, Daniel. Ding dong, ding. So yeah, I don't know, man. We'll give you one more. We'll give you a few more seconds to come up with a brilliant idea here, Daniel. See what you see. I think you see it. Yes, that's the move. That is the move. You got it, Dave. Dave's got the move.
I'm gonna have to come down there to Texas one of these days, right? And do a side by side with you one of these days.
Yeah, man. We need to. We need to take this show to the next level. All right, so let's see what's the move. He might not. I don't think he'll. I don't know. He might get it. I don't know.
I think he might be overlooking it a little bit.
Yeah, it's a very simple move, really. But I gave you an idea. The bishop wants to capture the knight, but you got to get rid of the defender. Who's the defender? The rook. So we got to remove the rook out of this line. We got to kick the rook.
Now, Daniel, how do you attack it? How do you attack it, Daniel? Give me a move here. How do we attack that, Daniel? Give me the move. Give me the W.
Yeah.
Which one, though?
Yes. With
Which
the
one,
pawn.
though? Yes.
Yeah.
I think he gets it.
This is the only pawn they can
Correct.
get it. Because he can't go here, he can't go there, he can't go here, and he can't go here because rook takes rook. And so you're forcing the rook out of the rank.
But you do not win the piece outright, though, Ray.
No. Okay, so what does he do?
Rook C2.
All right, rook C2.
But sorry. No, E2. Sorry. E2,
yeah,
sorry.
E2. All right.
But
so now what's the
first,
move?
let's drop a check. You have to drop the check bomb on the back rank first.
Yes.
Because you have to give a couple checks.
To give you the tempo, and the king moves away, and now you capture.
Now you take it. Goodbye.
And he goes here, and now what's the move?
Bishop. What is that? C8. Bishop C8. Because even with taking, you are still. You don't have to worry about the check.
You can capture. And you can capture this pawn and, give you a pawn majority. Because if he goes check, we simply attack. And, of course, he's going to maybe capture back here. And we can start capturing these pawns. And we have here a 2-to-1 on this pawn, and so one pawn's going to survive, and it's an easy game from there. Well, not that easy, but it's a good game. That makes sense.
Pretty easy, right?
Yeah. Well, we have an extra piece. You're right. You have an extra piece. You have bully those pawns with that rook and that bishop, and so as it is, this guy has.
Bully.
Oh well, it's White's turn, right? It's White's turn here. No. It's Black's turn. So
no, it'd be Black.
And the rook, look, the rook cannot protect the pawn. The rook cannot protect the pawn. So if he goes here, well,
but he has to go. No. That'd be incorrect. Go back.
Oh,
it has to be rook c2. Nope, it'd have to be rook c2 would be the proper move. Not pushing the pawn. You leave the pawn back on a7.
All right.
You play rook c2.
He would go here, right? And then what's the move here? Protect? We could protect. Because we have that.
No, you just use your rook. You just play rook e4 and you're fine.
We can go rook here and we're okay. Now, if he goes here, we simply go here and we're okay. All right?
Yep, and it's no brainer for him.
And he's got nothing. He comes down to this, then of course he's lost. He's right there. He's already lost the pawn. He goes here. We can go there. I mean, he tries to do something like this. That would be this, and then boom, and then we totally win. So
no good. No.
So he would not be able to go there. He's told he doesn't have anything. Maybe the king moves here. No, that's still this, and of course maybe he moves over here to try to checkmate me. And now look at this pawn; he's free here, and he's free there, and the rook's gonna get in there, and it's all over. Yeah, it's all over. Or this pawn's free here, and then obviously the bishop there, and maybe the rook's here. He says to worry about the queenie square, and he got it, and he goes, ooh. About to destroy. Yes. Yeah. That is the idea, man. You have an advantage. You keep applying pressure where he's weak. Too many times we're considering checks and all of this, but we're not applying pressure where the opponent is weak. You have to continue the pressure. Remember, if he's weak on one side or if he's losing pieces on one side, you apply pressure. The checkmate will come. Just keep applying the pressure and knocking down. Am I right, Dave?
You're 100% correct, right? Once you have the pressure, keep going and going.
Why don't you talk a little bit about the attack, like from that point of view, because I think that's important. Too many players. They create an attack, but it's not. It's maybe with one piece, two pieces, and then all of a sudden their attack stops. So why don't you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so you're right, Ray. A lot of players, especially rated between 1,000 to about 1,600, do not create concrete attacks. A lot of the time, it's just one or two minor pieces, and they're not following through. That's because they're pressuring their opponent to make bad moves. They're not making them defend the position, which ultimately will, cause a loss. You basically need to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Because if you play a couple passive moves, your opponent can then turn the tempo on you, and you're then the loser in that game. Because you didn't keep the pressure. You got to keep attacking. Play forcing moves. That is a key concept that most players don't learn. And I have a lot of students like that are in the 1,400 range and get stuck there because they're not playing forcing moves. And I'll look over games with them, and I'm just like, why didn't you play this forcing move? And that's where, and I'm stealing this a little bit from the movie Zombieland, but, a little bit here. But, value, the little things count. Those little pawn moves like we saw in that puzzle are playing C4. Little things count.
Yes.
They always do.
Well, a little pawn attacks big pieces is considered a grandmaster move, so it's one of the 6 grandmaster moves, Keep going, you're doing good.
But just keep forcing and forcing. And another thing that people don't look at too, and this is going to go early in the games, not when you're playing, know your openings. If you don't know your openings, you will not be able to force a position. And another one, like Ray, you and I probably like hammer it into our students. Puzzles, puzzles, puzzles.
Yes, that's why we do the show. Puzzles. Three or more pieces attacking the king, guys. Come with power. But yes, you're right. I mean, puzzles. I tell them, you know, I coach like a football coach, and I tell people, you know, hey, you know, the football coach makes you run laps, makes you do push-ups, makes you do sit-ups, makes you do, you know, lift weights, all of this stuff that you're doing to condition your body. Well, we got to condition our mind. So guess what? Puzzles, drills, end game drills, all kinds of scenario drills, you know, because in the end, you know, you study your nose, you study your open, but in the middle game, you're kind of like, you're on your own already, man. And so if you don't know how to deal with where pieces go, what pieces do, the job of the pieces, you know, that's where I think a lot of players also start losing games because they don't know what to do because they only studied the opening. What do you think, Dave?
I would say a lot of players lose, and it's not just because they're just learning the openings. It's some of it's due to confidence issues, but that's kind of rare that it's mental. But a lot of it's just inexperience, and that's why you do a lot of these puzzles. This is why you study openings to gain some of that experience, to gain, you know, familiar. Yeah, there you go, puzzles. But to get familiar with these positions, because when you have that lack of experience, which is probably the majority of most of our students between you and me, you know, you got to get familiar with it. So another thing you should add on there, know your position. That should be another golden rule. Know your position.
Yes, I agree. Tell me a little bit of what you mean by that.
Knowing your position. So knowing your materials, looking at your open squares, looking at your attack squares, looking for the weak points.
Knowing if you're winning or losing.
Yeah, that too, knowing if you're winning or losing. But, you know, as you get better, it's not so easy. I've had games where I've beaten 2300s. Don't necessarily know where I'm winning or losing because it's very tactically inclined, and I have to try to figure that out on my own.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Hector. Hey, Hector Johnson. How's it going? Good morning, Royal. Miss you and Adriana a lot. Hey, you know, we'll be back on Tuesdays. Adriana's going to be back with us on Tuesdays. Mondays, she's taking off because she started to write a book. But, hey, come join us. Glad you're here, though. But it's true, man. You got to know your position because if you don't know the position, you don't know where you're going to go next. You know, and like the other thing, when we talk about lines, you got to know your geometry of the board. The geometry of the board is very important. Mm-hmm. I remember like 20 years or so, Susan Polgar did a seminar or during one of these national events, and she this is the way you teach a beginner, but she goes, this is the board, and she spent so much time on the board and talking about the board itself, not even pieces, just the board. And I remember asking her, so like why do you take so much time explaining the board? I mean, I understand all of this and all of that. And I go, yes. And she goes, yes, the geography of the board is very important. You know, it's like, you know, and it's true. You know, it made sense. I understood it, and I always look at the geography board. I remember I teach about squares. I talk about lines. You know, all of that. And so, wow. Daniel says the end game and different weird openings mess me up with a friend. Sometimes it's back and forth. Yeah, but you know what? Dave was saying something. You got to know your opening. Whatever opening you decide to play, you know what? That you need to work on it. And I tell my students sometimes, an opening is like a plastic knife. It ain't gonna cut nobody, you know. And you have to build it up to where it becomes a steak knife, and then you got to build it up to where it becomes what we have down here we call machetes, you know, and where it cuts, you know, thick wood and all of that, and then you have to build it up to where it becomes a sword, and then you build it up to where you put diamonds on your sword, and man, it's your opening is a powerful weapon, but you got to know it no matter what your opponent throws your way. And you also have to understand and know very well opening principles, because your opponent's going to knock you out of your opening, and that's a given. Sometimes by accident, sometimes on purpose. And so you got to understand opening theory. If you don't know the opening theory to your opening, or opening principles in general, you're going to make a move. A lot of times in move 3 or move 4, sometimes even move 2, whatever you do in one of those 3 moves, it sets you up for a bad position later on in the game, or even within the opening. What do you think, Dave?
Another thing I tell my students too, trust your gut. If your gut instinct is telling you one thing, maybe you should do it. Too many people overthink and they don't trust their gut instinct.
Yes.
And they overlook positions. So trust your gut instinct.
Because
trust your instincts.
The clock just keeps winding, and you don't even make a decision. That's true. That's true. Right. I mean, most chess players are pretty smart, so they feeling something. And I told my students, hey, you're the one in there fighting and sweating and kicking and doing everything to survive. We're out here. We're just waiting for you to come bring the game back out so we can analyze it. But we're like backseat drivers, or couch. What is it? Football couch football players, whatever. I forget the term, but they're in the battle, man. So they're the ones that are getting the slams and the kicks and all of that. They're the ones that are getting beat up.
Right, they're like you said, they're like football players. Yeah.
¿Qué dice? You know that. That's true. I mean, and isn't it funny when you're watching a game, you always come up with the best moves? When you're watching a game as a spectator, then when you're playing it, I remember that used to happen a lot. And it's like, I guess because you see it from a different point of view. And sometimes you have to coach yourself through the game. That's how you get better too. You got to coach. You got to talk to yourself. What did the player just do? Why did he move there? What's his plan? How do I stop it? Are my pieces safe? All basic stuff. Anyway. Dave, any announcements you got to do for your club or anything like that? We need to get you to send me a picture, headshot, and maybe some stuff for your club so we can post it here and kind of like advertise it and all that.
Yeah, my club has a tournament November 5th. It's a 1-day, 4 rounds, game 6 with a 5-second delay. Entry fee's a little bit higher, but we're hoping to fill up with all 32 players. It's a $45 entry fee. So, that's about $1,000.
There's some money price, right?
Yes, there is money involved. We do about a 70% payout. So that's about $1,000 if the section's full, Yeah. But we have to see. Right now, it's pre-registration only just because of the limited space we have. But we'll see. I got a few people entered, so we'll see what happens.
How much space do you have in your club for a tournament? How many players? About 50?
We can fit about 32 comfortably.
Oh, cool. Yeah, most clubs they run right around there. 50 to 30, somewhere in there. Sometimes very few of them actually are more than that. But it's cool.
It's rare. A lot of the older clubs have that space, but a lot of the clubs are businesses that have owned the property, so they have a lot more. Like, for instance, the Marshall Chess Club is a prime example of that. The club has actually owned that building for years now. It's got to be over 50 years, but they own the apartments and all the spaces, and they have 2 stories. They have the upstairs and the downstairs to play tournaments, so they have more than enough space. They can hold major international events. The Mechanicsburg Club out in California, they might be the oldest chess club in America. I would have to double check, but they own their building as well. And there's unfortunately not too many private clubs that way that own those buildings, which is sad. But chess isn't hugely profitable, and not everybody has money. Like, look at St. Louis. I don't know if you watched any of the U.S. Championship where Rex Sinkfeld announced he's making an expansion on his. To go from, I believe he said 8,000 square feet to 30,000 square feet, which is massive. Because he's probably going to try to – because he even mentioned instead of having like 80, 90 people, he wants to expand it to have over 200 people, which is a brilliant idea. But unfortunately, to do something like that, you have to be like him and be a billionaire and have the funds to do it.
Yeah,
but chess isn't. But unfortunately, and I was talking with Sean Manrose, who deals with chess with disabilities, and he mentioned the idea, and it's always been mentioned that chess should be subsidized by the government. But unfortunately, Americans don't, think that way, and it never will be.
Chess, yeah. I mean, we were Russia, or some other countries that even consider chess as part of the educational system. That would be a different thing.
Right. You're right. Russia does. They have it subsidized. You have private classes. Most of these classes have at least one titled player who is coaching it, who's been coaching it for 20 to 30 years. And that's how they turn out the best players. I mean, look at India. They're spending thousands of dollars right now to bulk up because they got Vladimir Kramnik, Garry Kasparov, Anatoly Karpov going over there and teaching their young talent. I mean, look at the Olympiad. It was in India. The host has 3 teams. Their top 1 and 2 teams killed it in the Olympiad because they were all prepared in bulk and they're subsidizing it.
Hola, Virginia. How's it going?
So,
she's from Kansas, in Garden City, Kansas. Tuning in. How's it going? But you're right. You're right. I mean,
but and unfortunately, U.S. chess needs to do something about this. I mean, look at your part of the world, Ray. I mean, you're by yourself out there in Brownsville.
I'm by myself. There's others, but for the most part, I'm long term. I've been doing this forever. Other people are more short term. But I focus more on teaching, where others focus, kind of like on running tournaments and stuff like that, or just playing, But it's like we need to develop the younger ones, the kindergartens, the primary, the elementary kids. We need to develop, because if they can't compete at the national level, or even at the state level, they can compete. I mean, there goes our strength. I mean, by the time they get to high school and they're still 12, 1300s, even 1600s, that's, when I've always said it, by the time they get to high school, kids should be closer to the 1800 or above,
It depends. That depends on geographic location, though, right? You got to remember, geography plays a huge part. Because I'll tell you right now, there are kids probably about your students' age in New York that are only 22, 2300. But then again, they have IMs, GMs, FMs.
They're constantly playing with super players. That's true.
Right, exactly. So geography, money, time, those are the big 3 components right there. I mean, in your area of the world, there's more disposable income financially being in the state that you're in. But the problem is it's the geography, because all of your best players in Texas, they're all in Dallas. That's where all of them are.
Oh, yeah. That's where they're at. And so they go a lot to the Dallas Chess Club, and also the UT up there, the university, and which is good, and I give props to the colleges that really support the scholastic program, because really they're the giants in chess, and they should be the ones leading the road to teaching chess and producing championship players, and it's like, I mean, that's one of the things that Susan Polgar did when she came into Texas. Look what she did at Lubbock, and even what she did in the Valley, she came down and she helped me out, and I mean, she's always promoted, but not only promote, but develop strong chess players, and so that's what more universities need to do. I mean, I think not so much focus on the college players, but focus on the scholastic program, because there's a lot of areas that their scholastic program is close to I don't know, maybe under 100 or something like that. How big is your scholastic area?
Tough. It's our scholastic area, maybe in Columbus, because I don't deal with scholastics a lot.
Yeah.
If we're lucky, it's maybe 50 or 60. But honestly, our scholastics we have 2 scholastic tournaments, grade championships, and then obviously the big Ohio State scholastics, which qualify for the Danker, the Barber, all of those, the Ruth Herring tournaments. But It's not very big. Like I said, I don't usually push a lot of scholastics because I develop my players differently than a lot of other coaches. Because I develop more hardcore players.
Yes.
But it depends on geography. It's all about geography. Scholastic programs are nice, but I think they're very short-lived because there's too many other things out there. So I think chess just needs the financials. If chess gets money thrown at it, people will go towards it. It's the same problem with soccer in the United States too. Soccer is not popular because it's big in Europe because all the money's there. When you throw money big at something, it's going to become popular. That's why it's doing so well in areas like St. Louis. The money's getting thrown at it. Where, it's money talks. Unfortunately, I hate saying that, but it does.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, people don't look at, but people don't look at the longevity of chess. Look at sports. Sports are very short term. Most people peak in their mid to late 20s, and can play maybe until they're 40 if they're lucky in major sports.
If they're lucky.
But then after that, there's nothing else. Chess. Look at Arthur Vizcair. That guy played his whole life. He spent almost 80 years worth in chess until he passed away about 5-6 years ago. But chess has more longevity and it has life skills. Football, baseball, they don't really have that many life skills in them. It's very short term.
Right.
So
no, that's true. That's true. Yeah, chess is the sport to really get your kids involved. Not all the benefits of chess, and once a chess player, always a chess player, and the chess player is going to teach another future chess player, and it's like, man, chess players tend to be very successful. So yeah. Anyway, guys, we'll let you go. We've been here an hour, man. We had some great puzzles, got some great chess theory, and so let's see what happens. Chess is beautiful, Daniel says. I agree, Daniel. Chess is beautiful. Chess is art. Chess is science. Chess is music. Chess is love. So we'll see you guys. Dave, thank you for joining me. We'll see you next week. And you take care, man.
I'll see you next week.
End it up here, and there we go. Andale. Bye-bye.